Hello. Welcome to Buzzing with Cousin Talk. I'm your host, Cousin Johnny. How's everybody doing out there? Uh, we got a great show planned. I would just like to shout out and remind everybody shop local and take advantage of some of this great stuff we got here in Monterey. There's farmers markets, and there's always some really great, unusual gifts that you could get for the holidays there. So when you go out and thinking about some gifts or shopping, think about some of these farmers markets and events that are happening in Monterey, and let's take care of our community. Okay, so let's get this show going. I got a special guest. She's the president of the Fisherman's Wharf Association. She also has a marketing business. So please welcome Wendy Brickman. Hi, Wendy.
Hello.
Welcome
How
to
are
the
you?
show. How are you?
Great. Nice to be on the show.
Yeah. So, Wendy, I'd like to ask you first. I'd like to congratulate you for uh, a lot of things that you do for Monterey in the community. Promoting things, and I mean, just you're always doing things and for the community. So we thank you,
Thank you.
and we'd like to congratulate you. You've won some awards with the Chamber of Commerce. You were Woman of the Year. You won the prestigious Bob Littlefield Award, which is great. So we congratulate you there. So, Wendy, where are you from, and how'd you end up in Monterey?
Good question. Good question. So I'm from Los Angeles and grew up there in West LA. And in LA, just like here, 1 in 4 jobs are in hospitality or agriculture. There, 1 in 4 jobs is movie industry. That's all you hear. Movie industry this, movie industry that. So growing up, naturally, I wanted to get a job somewhere in the movie industry. And I ended up in home video, which was very popular in the 80s, and working for Michael Nesmith at the Monkees. And every day they would go, oh, he had moved the company up to Carmel for a year or two, I guess. So
Yeah.
they'd go, oh, we miss Carmel. We miss Monterey. Every day they talk about it. And then I worked there for a while, then another video company. And then I got to work at Paramount Home Video. And they had a sale in the marketing area, and they had a sales meeting in at Spanish Bay in '88. It was pretty new then. And we had a dine around on Cannery Row. We went to the aquarium and had a dessert party, and we rented cars because Tucker, the movie with Jeff Bridges, had come out. Yeah. So we were on 17 Mile Drive, and they paid for golf for my husband, any of the golf courses. So my husband and I said, gee, this is LA kind of 50 years ago. So he was from Chicago, but he'd gone to law school in LA, and we met in '78 because we love to go to concerts, which we still do. So we were both kind of tired of LA by then. And in '90, we moved here, and he took a attorney position in Monterey. And I just started my marketing firm and joining the chamber, volunteering, doing a lot of community service, really helped build my business and helps build everybody's business.
That's really great. It's always interesting when you talk to people that moved here, what brought them to Monterey is great community. So, Wendy, you have quite a few. You work with nonprofits and different organizations and businesses. Can you name a few?
Sure. Well, we'll talk today about Fisherman's Wharf, Old Fisherman's Wharf.
Yeah.
I work with the North Fremont Business District, which is a mile where you can find anything you need over there near the fairgrounds. And I work with the fair as well. I work with the Scottish Festival, Festa Italia, La Merienda when we have it. My last year has been, interesting because the Monterey Beer Festival, a lot of them canceled because of the pandemic, of course.
Yeah.
And I work with Test of Time, which is like a top rank construction company. They do a lot of work in Carmel, Monterey, and Pebble Beach. I work with the Pacific Grove Arts Center, which is a jewel. I had been there like once or twice. 10,000 square
Yeah,
feet.
beautiful
And
place.
the Monterey County Historical Society I've been helping. And we were
Great.
just talking about letters from the heart. I work with a lot of authors nationally. And there was a man who was sent to Vietnam in 1969 as an anesthesiologist, and he didn't expect to go. 3 months training. So every night he would write a letter to his wife of 6 months. And that's the only thing that kept him sane for a year. Just he was right on that Hamburger Hill, Tet Offensive.
Oh, wow.
It's
Yeah.
a really moving book with his 300 letters. So I've been doing PR for that, and I've gotten some stories. But just on Veterans Day, there were 13 newspapers that wrote about the book. So it was really, I get excited.
Well,
I know I'm in the right business.
you should
And
be excited.
yeah,
13
it's called Letters
newspapers.
from the Heart. Really, really good. And then I have my own TV show, and I love yours. And
Oh,
this month I have I had interviewed Dan Albert, Senior, and he actually in 2 episodes, because he's got so many incredible stories. He was mayor of Monterey for 20 years, and I just think it's important to hear them and capture them. And also a man named Dick Gutman, who he's a publicist to the stars for 50, 60 years down in Beverly Hills. Barbara Streisand, you name it. He knew Clint. He wrote a great book.
yeah.
And I interviewed him, and that's airing on AMP right now.
So when is your show? I mean, if somebody wants to tune in.
Well, they do it, they move it around. I don't know the exact schedule. I think it's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9. But in my newsroom, Brickman Marketing, under my newsroom, I put links to the shows. And there's actually a page that has all my shows. And like you, I think it's really important that we're recording remarkable people in Monterey County.
Yeah. Now, Dan Albert, not only he was a mayor and he's a local, born and raised here, but he was the coach, the football coach for, I don't know, maybe 25, 30 years or something. He was the top football coach. So we call him Coach Albert when we see him. And what's interesting of those businesses that you mentioned and organizations about how when the pandemic hit, how everybody had to kind of regroup. And I know you were instrumental in fairgrounds and
The fair did well.
They had the movie night.
Yeah, that's right. Drive-in movies, right? Pop-up movies. Those were successful.
I thought that was great.
A good way to pivot. You had to pivot. Same
you
with
guys, you did a good job by pivoting. Yeah. What I like is that I hope that some of these, great ideas stick around. Like it would be great when this pandemic is completely over, if it is, to still always have movies at the fairgrounds every summer. That would be
actually in the slower times. In the summer, she usually has festival after festival.
Yeah, we're on the slow times because people really enjoy it. I mean, it's like nostalgic, And when I was growing up, they had a drive-in over there where that Navy school, right there by the fairgrounds. The Navy school golf course used to be a drive-in.
Really?
Back in those days, yeah. We used to go in, and it was fun. And then we left there, and then we went to where Denny's is now by the Casa Munris. That was called the El Patio. So we would go to the drive-in, and then we'd go. My dad would take us to the El Patio, and they had car hops, but they weren't on skates. they got rid of the skates, and I noticed that that cowboy festival is coming back, right?
I believe so. Yes,
that's
I work on that too. I'm going to be talking to Ben Bransford, who you interviewed recently from the Golden State, is involved with the Cowboy Festival and some new concerts that are going to be at the fairgrounds. And I'm going to be talking to him this week about them.
And the Golden State Theater we're really looking forward to all the events that are going to be happening. And let's do it. And I know you're a big concert goer. You were when I spoke with you that one time. Yeah. Earlier.
Love concerts.
Let's show this.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
The
I
famous.
actually have the list of what's coming up if you want to cover that.
Yes, let's do it.
So this weekend is the Temptations. I think it's going to sell out. I went and looked. So if you want to go, there's some tickets still available, but not that many. And they're just legends.
Yeah.
And then Tower Power is also a really popular one. I think they're from
Oakland,
aren't they?
That's always popular, yeah. Tower
And then
Power.
we've got an Irish Christmas, which I love because I love the Scottish festival. And they're Irish dancers, and they're darling, like Riverdance.
Yeah, they're good, yeah.
That's December 2nd. And December 3rd is Kathleen Madigan. She's a comedian. And then Caramel presents, what is it? Matsu Ahu. I haven't read it yet. There's Scary Pool Party. And then he flips over to February and March, where we'll have Steve-O, Nate Barsgate. He's a comedian. Buddy Guy rescheduled. I miss seeing him. We've seen him a number of times. Yeah. And Taylor Tomlinson, who's another comedian. So it's really fun. It's a great, and it's so gorgeous, the theater.
I mean, you walk in, I call it the Grand Dame of theaters. You walk in and just all the architecture, and you walk in and you just feel good. Just
the high ceilings.
Sure, I mean, I don't know how they did all that work in that era, but
20s. And they also did, the former owners, the Lochterfells, they own the Fox Theater in Redwood City, same architect. So that's why they owned that for 12 years and this theater for 6 years. And it was the same architect, the Reed brothers. In the 20, yeah. I want to say 26, 29, something like that. Wow.
And one thing about State Theater is it's 1,000 seats. Every seat, I saw the Beach Boys, and I think I had the last seat the last nosebleed seats, they call it. But let me tell you something, it's still there. Because there's not a bad seat in the house. So I recommend, get a group together, go downtown Monterey, grab some dinner, maybe go to Puma or somewhere like that, or Comanche, have a glass of wine, and go see a show at the Golden State Theater, and you won't be sorry.
Yeah, I mean, because of the theater, this is what they did with Redwood City. They called it Deadwood City, and they revitalized it by having a very aggressive schedule of concerts. And this is helping. We've got the brewery, we've got Chibo, but now there's a new wine bar behind, or it's a speakeasy behind the theater. There's going to be a whiskey store 2 doors down with great whiskey. Plus, a bunch of restaurants, Crown and Anchor, pubs.
Yeah.
Sir, it keeps it vital. Your downtown is fun, and it's fun to walk around. And I work with the COVID checks. Now you have to have a COVID card or test within, I think, 48 hours. And it's just fun to watch everybody downtown. It's a vibrant downtown.
And the lights are on, and it's just, they really revived downtown. Yeah. Now, I was, when I talked to Ben there that runs the theater, I was telling him that the Helms Tobacco Shop 2 doors down, when I was growing up in Monterey, that tobacco shop was there. And we used to go in and get candy. And then we used to go to the theater. Then I was telling Ben, okay, here it is 50 years later. I'm still going to Helms, but now I'm getting a cigar and maybe a drink and then going to the theater. So, the times change a little bit, but not much. But,
I think the history of the Helm family is interesting too.
Yeah,
Monterey History and Art at their library has some information. They once had an exhibit about them. That's what I love about Monterey. LA, unfortunately, we went down there to see my brother last month, and they just didn't preserve that much. And that's what I love about Monterey: the adobes, the Golden State Theater, the Historical Society, the Pacific Grove Art Center, 1906, I think.
The art center is a beautiful spot,
isn't it? So they have 5 exhibits, and you can rent it. We have some book signings. We've had some events there. Again, with COVID, it's been off and on, but I just went there on Saturday, and they've got just beautiful exhibits, and they also oversee a youth art contest, and Andy Warhol was part of this contest, so you can get details about that. They're just about promoting youth art. And then there's music. Scott does, I think, open mics and karaoke sometimes.
Yeah,
so that's a resource too. That's downtown Pacific Grove is also getting vibrant.
They also have that first Friday of the month where they have a lot of galleries are open, and there's musicians kind of all over, and it's a nice festive atmosphere, especially with this holiday season. And also that Monterey Historical Society is really interesting. When I spoke to you, because I'm a history buff. And
me too.
Have you
been in the Historical Society yet?
I'm planning on going
and interview James Perry. His mother was a native. He's a native.
Yeah.
We went out there with the Test of Time people, and they restored a schoolhouse. They restored an adobe. They're working on a Victorian home, 5 acres right on the west side of Davis, near the post office.
You can take a tour, Wendy? Or
you set up a tour with James. Yeah. It's fascinating. Man. And this is it. It's the archives of all the newspapers and the court records, and they're building a Victorian library. Just fascinating. And I arranged that he have an exhibit. He's going to have an exhibit at the Pacific Grove Art Center in January. So that's good, because sometimes there's this lettuce curtain where you never go to Salinas.
I would like to check that out.
Yeah, and you should interview him. You'll love him.
Yeah.
He's great. And then I want to say that Wild Fish, I've been doing some PR work for the restaurant Wild Fish. They're a British man, and she was born in New Orleans. And they had a Wild Fish in Mendocino, which they just closed. And they love music. He used to own a record store in London. And every Friday and Saturday, they have Bob Phillips, who's kind of a legendary. Out on the street, right next to their restaurant, which Friday and Saturday, they have live music downtown Monterey or anywhere. It's brilliant.
I mean, for Monterey, he's Hall of Fame Monterey.
Is he? Bob Phillips?
Yeah.
Well, I love that they're supporting musicians like him, and every weekend, Friday and Saturday. So, sometime when you're not in downtown Monterey, stroll downtown Pacific Grove, and Wild Fish, all they do is fish and organic vegetables and mushrooms. And I admire that they're just so focused. So they really push the envelope on preparing beautiful fish.
That's dynamite. So
have you been there yet? It's really great.
Not yet.
Okay. It's only a few years old.
I'm planning on it.
Yeah, that's why they need PR.
We need it. So Wendy,
do you want to talk about the wharf? What?
Let's talk Fisherman's Wharf.
Okay. I have 9 pages, but we won't go through it. So what I'm working on now, it's the 5th annual Christmas on the Wharf. And what that is on 3 weekends, December 3rd through 19th. On Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, we have Santa visits. And then I book performers. Like we have the DLI choir coming 4 times. During that period, we have the Carmel Dance Theater, which you shouldn't miss. It's all on the MontereyWharf.com Christmas on the Wharf event page, my schedule. It keeps building. And we have, we'll have a magic demo. We have Lisa Lanvin, who's 13, but she started when she was 6.
Yeah.
We have Carmel Presbyterian Choir, the Monterey Chamber Singers. They're from MPC. Also, Peninsula Harmony Company. They dress up and then they do, holiday songs. And the decorations have you seen that tree?
That's
majestic with a sea life around it.
That's unbelievable. Even other events for Easter and Halloween. I mean,
oh my God, the Halloween! If you want to ever see the photos, we had a Halloween contest. We had 200 entrants, and it was so fun.
I'm going to show you something. There's some people there.
Yeah, that's right. How'd you find that photo?
There's some people there. Looks like they're all in costumes, having a good time.
They were one of the winners. We had 3, 6, 9, 12 winners in 4 categories, and that one cracked me up. But yeah, if you want to see all the pictures, I'm going to put them somewhere on the Wharf website. We just have some incredible pictures. So that was, and Dave Marzetti was the MC, and we had a panel of judges. I couldn't have judged. It was so hard to pick. They were so fun.
And you
And then
had
before
the
that, we had the Wharf birthday with the money band. Did you stop by?
176
Years.
year old Fisherman's Wharf.
Right.
Um,
It's one of the top attractions in Monterey County. And
it is one of the top. They also, you took it to a different level, like
yeah.
adding the lights, the
and the
costumes,
decorations.
the decorations, the Easter Bunny. I mean, you've added so
St.
much
Patrick's Day
stuff, and not
leprechaun.
only is it for visitors, but locals need to go down, and you know, you got good food down there, and it's just something about walking. You know, if it's been a while, walk down to the wharf, grab something to eat. You know, that smell of the ocean smell is just, because I grew up in Monterey, and that ocean smell reminds me of the old fishing days. So it really is cool to go down there. Maybe one of these days they'll get that theater going again, that Wharf Theater.
I hope so. But we have every first Sunday of the month, Tim Thomas, who's an historian you probably met or talked to, he gives a wharf walk and talks about the history of the wharf and the canneries and the abalone and the whaling and the Japanese and the Chinese and all the different cultures that have come through there. And we have a pretty good write-up on MontereyWharf.com under history. And it's just, that's what I love about Monterey. It's like an onion you keep peeling and learning more and more about your history.
Yeah.
And it's California. How about the Lower Presidio Historic Park, one of the most historic sites on the West Coast, just up the hill from the wharf. And we have put in historic interpretive signs, benches, walkways. People think it's closed because it's right under DLI, but it's not closed. So go have a picnic there and look at the beautiful view.
I've been. That was fun. And I know Tim, and he's great. I mean, this guy he just eats, drinks, sleeps Monterey history, and he's so fascinating. So when is that? What is on the Sunday?
It's always the first Sunday of the month, and I put it on the events page of the Wharf. And you just get in touch with Tim, and there's an adult price and a child price. He also could be convinced to do a walk of the Lower Presidio Historic Park. It's a slightly different history. And we stopped that because of the pandemic, but we had student groups coming up there, teachers. Great way to learn history, you know.
I took that tour, Wendy.
Oh, good.
Lower, it talks more about the Native American that
the abalone shells are right there.
Here,
and the war, the cavalry, the Buffalo Soldiers, the Father Sarah luncheon, and blah blah blah. it's great. So and just all the adobes. And one other thing we should talk about. Two other things. Three other things.
Go ahead.
One is the Christmas and the adobes is December 10th and 11th. And that's an opportunity. You buy tickets and you can go in a number of adobes. And they're open, and there's sometimes music, sometimes refreshments, dancers. So we're part of that. The Wharf is a stop, and then the Custom House, you know, one of the oldest buildings in California, is open, and Pacific House, and some of the clubs. I like going to some of the clubs that occupy some of the adobes that are private clubs, but you know, the adobes are open during those 2 days.
Like the Pacheco Club and
Capitol Club.
Pacheco used to be the hospital.
Wow, over there?
It was a hospital, yeah.
That little building? Well, it's not that little. It's 2 stories with the pool, right?
Yeah, that was a hospital at one time, yeah.
Huh. Well, the funny thing is Stokes Adobe just reopened, and I saw one day I was looking at Kelly Violini at the fair's old fair programs, and it said, I think it was whatever the name of that restaurant had been, it said, located between the hospital and the jail. And I'm thinking, that's a marketing hook. And it was, because the jail was over there and the hospital on Hartnell is still there. What was that Stokes Adobe called before?
1833.
And before that, it was before that.
Oh, Gallatin's.
Gallatin's. This was an ad for Gallatin's, located, and you're thinking between the jail and the hospital. So if you drink too much, you go to jail. If you eat too much, you go to the hospital.
Gallatin's
was hilarious.
That was first class. I mean, they had the valet parking outside.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to see the new. I mean, the new one. I don't know if it's open every day, but I just think that building, the upstairs balcony area, and the I just like the upstairs of that building especially.
Yeah, it's really a cool place.
I
They're
know.
saying there's still a lady walking around there at night inside.
Did you ever see her? I did not.
I didn't, but uh, I've heard stories, and I think she's just there. I mean, I don't think she's bothering anybody, but getting back to that Christmas on the Adobes, when you go into this historical places, the staff is dressed in the outfit of that era.
Right.
So you kind of feel, like you're in that,
Stepping back
you're
in
going
time.
back in time, back to the future. Yeah.
Back in time. You're right. And then
Yeah.
ice skating on the wharf is starting. Ice skating, excuse me, on the bay. It's right next to the wharf
that
in
is-
Portola. It's starting this week. I think this weekend.
That's really cool. I mean, that is really great. That winter wonderland right here in Monterey. So we got it all here in Monterey. Get out, get something to eat, check out some history.
Go on a boat ride. We got
take a
orcas in the
ride
bay.
on a whale watching. I mean,
Sailing, glass bottom boat.
glass
Fishing.
bottom
You
boat.
like fishing? Are you a fisherman?
Yeah, I did a little salmon fishing with my dad. Yeah, and also the State Theater. I mean, the sky's the limit. So everybody get out. And we've got first night coming up too.
That's right. And I'm just working on after we hang up, I'm going to work on that press release. There's a lot of great fun things. There's going to be a Old Monterey Foundation, which usually does lectures, history lectures, which I love, but they're sponsoring the Monterey Pops performance. I think it's at the Golden State Theater. So it all comes together and Ellen Martin does a great job of coordinating a million entertainers.
He does. Yeah.
So really that's a fun,
great job. Yeah.
Very unique event and fun for the whole family and just a great community event. These community events, it's important, just like you're saying, buy local. That's brilliant. Yes, you should buy local.
Yeah.
And there's great souvenir shops at the wharf. What I love about what I usually get is, let's say, there's these shot glasses and mugs with with all the names. So then it's like thoughtful to buy,
Wendy mug. Cool. I mean, somebody in, New York or something's got a little Fisherman's Wharf.
Have you seen that calendar? There's a calendar I've started to see on people's counters at retailers, and 5 of the photos are old Fisherman's Wharf. I call it, and it's a photographer from Santa Cruz. I go, great, because it's so photogenic. By the time we get all that decoration up, it's just a place to build memories.
Let me, before I let you go, I want to show one more. You've got a poster out. I want to show the poster.
Yeah, thank you.
Christmas on the Wharf. You need to zoom in on it, but it gives you a lot of things that are happening. It gives you the dates. So go down, grab something to eat, take your kids, because it's
family friendly.
Very family friendly.
And Santa's waiting for you. He'll be there Friday nights and Saturday all day. He's going to rest on Sunday.
Okay, Wendy. Well, do you have anything more you'd like to add before we let you go and work on that project you were saying?
Right. I'm going to work on first night now. No, just go to my website, brickmanmarketing.com. And I usually put in all my press releases in my newsroom. Okay. And so it keeps, it's got a lot. I write long press releases.
brickmanmarketing.com.
The newsroom link.
Or you can also go to Fisherman's Wharf site.
MontereyWharf.com for that.
MontereyWharf.com for information. And you can always watch this show again and get the information. Right. Or you can message me and I'll message Wendy and we'll figure it out. And wait a minute, one more thing before I let you go. And that's there's a old school radio with David Marzetti.
Oh yeah, we meant to talk about Sundays with Sinatra. Dave Marzetti. He's hosting at 6 to 12 and then live at Old Fisherman's Grotto from 10 to 12 every Sunday. And I grew up with the Beatles. So I'm getting a kick out of hearing all these Frank Sinatra songs.
So he
does little interviews. He's looking for sponsors if anybody wants to sponsor.
And he's got that radio voice that you just gravitate to that radio voice. So he's definitely good, great.
And he sings too with Mike Murata. They just did a thing at Domenico's last week. Yeah. Italian Nights. I love when they do the Italian Nights around
that's
around
great.
the area.
The accordion and let's one more thing. I mean, we could go on all night, but one more thing is that statue of Mike Murata is out of this world down
Isn't it?
on the corner of Franklin and Alvarado in front of Plumes. Go down, sit down, and
Take a photo.
say hello to Mike. Okay.
He's a legend.
It's great. Now they added a plaque.
Oh, good. I haven't seen that yet.
And the
Okay.
plaque is on the building, not on the statue.
Okay. And I asked Mike Murata, why is he facing toward Plumes? He said they didn't want anybody going in the middle of the street taking a picture.
Yeah.
This way you can you can sit next to Mike, take a picture.
Yeah. Usually when I go to farmers market, I always go there and sit down and talk to the guys that are there.
And the farmers market's great. You're right. I'm going to look for Christmas presents there as well. And it's every Tuesday, and it's a phenomenal.
Yeah.
3 to 7, something like that, or 3 to 8.
Let's see. It's
Rick Johnson does a great job.
4 to 7.
4 to 7. Okay.
And when the time changes, then they go 4 to 8.
I see. Okay.
So right now, and then one more thing I wanted to add is do they still have the free parking for 2 hours?
They have Monday through Thursday free parking for 2 hours. They also, if you happen to live in the city of Monterey, can get a $20 annual pass. However, I think the city got hit hard by the pandemic, so they may be looking at those programs. I'd hate to see them leave, but I can sort of understand their financial dilemma. So use it while you can. 2 hours Monday through Thursday.
Last I heard that Monday through Thursday, if you show your ID, you get 2 hours of parking. So now,
actually, you have to get a validation now because they modernized the waterfront parking lot, and you have to prepay. The last one we didn't say. I'm waiting for them to get back to me, but we're going to have some Monterey Magic mini shows, and of course, the
Monterey Magic. What a place!
Yeah,
nice.
I've been 3 times. It's in the Stanton Center
to the community.
Have you been to it yet?
Not yet.
Oh, you should interview somebody. I'll set you up.
I know. I have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You interviewed Paul?
Yeah, Paul.
Yeah. So I love collaborating with them, and I invited them to do some during the Wharf birthday. They did a little magic demo, and I hope they said they would do some during Christmas on the Wharf.
Yeah.
So just check the event page because I keep editing it, adding to it.
And don't forget that the Western Flyer is coming back to Monterey, the famous boat that John Stein built.
Right. When's that coming?
They're saying maybe September.
Great.
It's being worked on over there and somewhere in Washington, and
wow.
They're going to be coming back to see the Western Flyer. Is going to be that should be an event. We should promote that event because it's going to be something else. Okay, well, Wendy, I'll let you go back to your busy schedule, and I really appreciate you coming on and
thank you,
sharing everything with us, and thank you so much. And
thank you for having me.
We will see you maybe on the wharf.
That's right. Okay, probably.
Wendy. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, Wendy Brickman. Look, thank you so much for coming on, and the sky's the limit here in Monterey. You got farmers market, you've got magic, you've got the State Theater, you got Fisherman's Wharf, you got the Monterey Fairgrounds. I mean, it just goes on, and you got the art centers, you got the Adobes. Just go out, check it out, and have some fun. And if you think about it and you're looking for that special gift, maybe you could find something at farmers market. Okay, thank you everybody for buzzing with Cousin, and we will see you next week. And make sure you tip your server. Bye.